the Honest-To-God Series with Angel Rose and Ahonu.
You are all very, very welcome. I am Ahonu, and with me is my lovely Angel Rose.
People are demanding answers.
Basically exposing the truth.
For us to explore in more detail today.
This is the time period of truth being exposed, of all the unhealed stuff coming out.
So make sure you tune in. You can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and on our website at worldofempowerment.com.
Don't miss an episode. Hit the subscribe button now.
Well, you are very welcome. I am Ahonu, and unfortunately we don't have with us today our precious Angel Rose. She's actually enjoying the solar eclipse in Oregon, which is in the path of totality. So we're going to leave her, and in the meantime we're going to speak with Paula Milan, as in that great Italian city of Milano. And she's with us because we want to find out about Pranic Healing. Now, I know a little bit about it, but it's a dangerous little bit. And Paula is an expert in it, and I have her with me because I'm very keen to find out how it can help heal relationships, how it can help clear land, how it can help with pets and gardens and all of that kind of thing. So before I bring her on, I just want to give you a little bit of a background that I have here that says that Pranic Healing requires no drugs, gadgets. It doesn't even require any physical contact. And it's a no-touch system that utilizes life force energy to bring the body into harmony and balance. And the reason it works is that physical ailments first appear as energetic disruptions in the aura before manifesting as problems in the physical body. So we'll be talking about that. And we're also going to talk about the physical body doing some self-repairing. We're going to talk about the energy body and how it actually clears negative energy. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about how it heals the relationships, because this is an area that we feel really needs a lot of healing. We're looking at all kinds of situations in our world, in our politics, in our families. We're looking at discord and separation and division. And we want to get to the bottom of that and find out how Pranic Healing can help in that area. I do apologize in advance. You may hear a little wind noise because, as I said, we're out in central Oregon. We're actually in the middle of a vineyard, and the warm air is blowing through the vines. I'm going to show you some pictures of it in a few minutes, but in the meantime, as I say, I do apologize if you do hear some wind noise in the microphone. So, Paula, you are very welcome.
Thank you, Ahonu.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself first, before we get into the detail of Pranic Healing. Just what's your background and what got you into this in the beginning?
Well, I'm going to go right to the core. I was in my early 30s, and I just had a talk with God, and I said, okay, use me. I am available and ready to be of service to God and mankind. And within 3 months' time, I was in herbal and massage school in Northern California. And my path was just made so easy and clear. And so I started with body work. And through that, I would get divine guidance to get into Pranic Healing. Right. You know, when my heart responds and I get a yes from my heart, then I know this is divine guidance. Right. Do this. And when I took the classes, it was like remembering. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Now, I'm responding to that because we just had a person on with us just a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the difficulties in business today. And I'm sure it's always been difficult in many different kinds of businesses. In other words, it's a struggle, it's a fight. Every day it's difficult. You're trying to get sales, you're trying to cover your overheads and all of that kind of thing. But what you're talking about here is something that just it comes easy to you.
I would give thanks every Sunday night that all the divine right people that I was meant to help would be on my massage table that week. And in the early time, I forgot to ask, and I'd like a break in the middle of my shift.
Right, yes. Because what you asked for, you got it.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's like I realized, well, I can't do 6 hours straight. I was at a big sports health club. Yeah. So I had to give thanks that I got a break in the middle. Right, and then my schedule just flowed perfectly. Yes. But it was just a habit to give thanks every Sunday night for the following week.
Is that habit that you talk about, that habit of gratitude, is that part of pranic healing, or is that just a practice that you do yourself?
Pranic healing does give thanks.
Okay.
The gratitude habit, that's a daily practice that I embrace and find. I love to do it. I think it's good.
Yes. But it obviously works in your life.
It does work.
Yeah. So tell us about pranic healing then. How did that start? How did you get introduced to it? And what did you do first?
Another massage therapist friend of mine told me about it, and I had that, my heart chakra just expanded and increased. And it's like, well, that's a yes. And that's divine inspiration for me. And I knew it.
Right.
And I always act on divine inspiration.
Wow.
So I took the classes and I loved it.
Yes,
I just loved it.
Yeah.
And I started using it immediately. And I would, in the massage room, I would silently ask the person's Christ self, their higher self,
Yes.
would you like a healing? And all the years that I did massage, I had one no. And it's like in my mind silently, okay, this person needs this experience to learn a lesson.
Right.
Okay, that, hands off. But all the rest, and every once in a while, someone on the table would say, I can feel what you're doing. I didn't know there were any people like you in this club.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's delightful that people are open to it and receptive, and you see emotional releases and physical releases, and people just drop this cloak of heavy energy. Right. Plus they have hands on their body and all the muscles get relaxed. And that is enhanced immensely when you do the pranic healing and you clear the energy. There may be cords in the body and you remove those. The muscles relax and let go.
But let me ask you this, because I want to backtrack just a second, because you're clearly a spiritual person, because you're talking about divine guidance, you're talking about gratitude, you're talking about auric fields, and you're talking about energy fields and that kind of thing. So what attracted you to pranic healing as opposed to, you mentioned about you being in massage? Why did you not stay in massage or any other kind of?
Oh, but I stayed in massage.
Okay.
I never quit doing massage. I added.
Gotcha.
Pranic healing, and a year later I added essential oils. I use all the tools that God presents to me. Okay. When I get that divine yes, I can be of greater service if I use all the tools that are put in my path that I know are right.
That makes sense. Okay, now we're going to take a very quick little studio break right here, just to remind you that we're with Paula Milan. I'm prompted almost to say Milano because that's what I'm familiar with, the name of that great Italian city. But we will be back very quickly after this. Stay with us.
This episode is sponsored by Twin Flame Hosting. Twin Flame Hosting has been designing and hosting websites since 1993 and is now a leading provider of internet-based web services to large and small businesses all over the world. We also care for many individuals who depend on our quality, reliability, and affordable hosting solutions because we know what professional business people need in a hosting solution. Visit twinflamehosting.com.
All right, we're back, and we are with Paula Milan, and we're speaking about pranic healing. And just before the break, we were talking about how you got into this practice and that you practice this along with various other modalities. So it's like a whole body, whole mind, whole spirit type of a practice. Now, we also mentioned at the very outset that we were going to talk about what it is and how it helps people. So you mentioned about it relaxing muscles and things. Can you give us some idea of what's in? If I came to you today for a pranic healing, what would you do? What would I expect?
I would scan your body with my hands because I was born with very sensitive hands. I feel energy just like I open my eyes and say, oh, the sky is blue today. It's that. I was made to do this. Okay. I was given the gift of being able to feel energy. Okay. So I scan your whole body to find congested energy, which usually equals pain. And the heavier and more dense that energy is, because energy has mass and density. So the more mass, the more density, the greater the pain. And sometimes I've had to scan 16 feet away from a person or make them really small and then use an etheric representation of them because the energy's so congested, like outside of the house.
Is that like when somebody talks about distance healing, that you, in a way, you make a representation of them?
Right. That's how I do distance healing. But I have to use it sometimes for people that have just come out of surgery and they're in excruciating pain from having foot surgery or a knee replacement or whatever it is. And that pain energy is so dense and so far away from their body that it's got to get cleared to give them some pain relief.
Right. But we're careful that we're not doctors, so we're not prescribing anything, or we're not
No.
promising cures or anything.
No, I don't even touch them.
Sure.
It's a hands-off, with their permission and they want the healing,
Yes.
I just clear the energy. You sweep it away.
Okay.
And then you have the opportunity to bring in divine energy through your crown chakra, earth energy from Mother Earth, air energy you bring in through your hands. So you use all of that life force energy and you can present that to the person's body. If they need more physical energy, then you want to connect to Mother Earth and give them a more dense, a nice, clear, rich red with white, you gotta have white in there, to build the energy in their basic chakra, which is by their tailbone, so that their body can use that energy to create more cells and to create healing cells and heal broken bones. And so there's a method. There are different colors you use on different organs and different parts of the body for different purposes. Burns you would sweep with light whitish green for healing and a little bit of blue to clear away the burn energy, that hot energy. But you can't use too much blue or you'll trap the red energy in there. So there's a balance. You got to be able to feel it. You got to know what you're doing to clear just the right amount.
So that obviously was what you learned when you said that you studied pranic healing. And
Correct.
You did classes, and because it would make sense that there's a lot more to this than what we're going to be able to cover today.
Right.
But having said that, though, the treatment is short, I imagine, is it? It's
Yes.
not something that you're going to spend 3 or 4 or 6 hours.
No. Sometimes you can do what you need to do in 15 minutes.
Wow.
And there are certain things, like if you're working on somebody who's got the flu and you're going to cleanse the blood, clean out the lungs, the whole respiratory system, every organ in the body, clean off the whole body, the spine, it takes an hour.
Wow.
But you're cleaning out the entire body and then bringing in nice, healthy, clean energy so their body can use that to create health, to repair itself. The body does the repairing. We present the energy. Thank you, God. Thank you to, the angels who help.
Maybe we should have spoken to you a few weeks ago, because we were in San Diego when Gail Rose had a little episode, as she called it, a little mini stroke. And that's what the hospital diagnosed, was a mini stroke. And where that came from was we ended up taking her to the hospital, to the emergency care. And she spent one night in the hospital, and they charged her $49,000 for one night in hospital.
God.
So we should have gone to you, Paula.
Right. One of the main things is you clean out the chakra that's on the opposite of the belly button. That controls your blood pressure. So that's one of the things you do, is check to see if that's congested. Check and see where there's congested energy possibly in the brain. Right. And clear it.
Right.
You just start clearing the systems of the body.
Yeah. Now, at the outset, we also mentioned about pets. Can you tell us a little bit about pets? What's the benefit for a pet, or how do you know that a pet would need it or respond to this pranic healing?
Well, number one, either the owner can tell you, my pet has these sores all over her body. She's a mess. And so you go in and you connect with the dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? They get that you understand them.
Okay.
And you just start sweeping and clearing and clearing and clearing and clearing. And I had a friend tell me 2 days after you did that, all of the sores were gone. She had quarter-sized sores on her body.
Wow, that's fast.
It can be very fast, because
You've removed the cause, as it were.
Exactly.
Yeah. And is it always energetic?
It's energetic first. Everything is energy, and it's in the auric field, in the energy body before it ever manifests in the physical. So if you get yourself on a weekly or monthly protocol, whatever each person chooses to do, and you make sure that you're getting cleared, or you're doing your meditation, or whatever the practice is that you do to clear, it keeps you healthy. It keeps you from manifesting dis-ease in the body.
Now, would an animal have a resistance to this? Is it likely that, like, a dog might bark or bite or something if you were offering this service to the dog?
I have not had that experience. What most animals do is they get quiet, they lie down, and they love it. It's like being petted without being touched.
Okay.
I think they feel the energy, and they know it's good energy, and it feels good.
Okay. Right, so you don't get resistance of any kind?
I never have. I haven't had that experience.
Yeah. And when you treat an animal, does the benefit accrue to the family, or are they connected in any way?
They're absolutely connected. One of the things that I've noticed is that animals will take on energetic imbalances or serious illnesses. That animal will take some of that energy on into their own body. So it's really important to clear the owner or family members, if it's a whole family, as well as.
So in a way, and I'm only asking this as a kind of a devil's advocate, in that if I have a problem with my dog of some kind and I ask you to come in, does it follow that you're going to end up treating me and my mother-in-law, my grandfather and the whole family? Like, am I getting myself down a little?
Well, that could happen, but a clearing of you might take 5 minutes. It might be 5 minutes on Grandma and 7 minutes on Uncle Joe or whatever, and then 15 minutes on the animal.
Because they're all in the same energy dynamic, is that?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let's remind our listeners we're speaking to Paula Milan, not Milano. And Paula is in the process of building her website. We will put a link to it down below when we get it built. But in the meantime, though, we are going to take another quick little break. Before we do, I want you, Paula, to give us some contact information, because I do know that people will be listening to this and will want to contact you for these kinds of treatments. So do you want to tell us very quickly how people can get in touch with you?
They can email me at paulashealing@gmail.com, paulashealing@gmail.com, or you can contact me by phone, 925-487-3365, 925-487-3365.
Perfect. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Years of research, thousands of profound statements, hundreds of sessions, miles of transcripts, months of listening, a vast archive of personal power and spiritual awareness awaits you. Join worldofempowerment.com today, a website of practical spirituality for your fast-changing world. worldofempowerment.com.
Okay, you're very welcome back. I am Ahonu, and with me is Paula Milan, and we're speaking about pranic healing. Now, we've spoken about the general treatment, where it came from, how she got into it, and we spoke about the benefit to the person, and we spoke about how it benefits pets and animals. And we just mentioned in passing too the benefit to plants and vegetables. Perhaps we should just dwell on that for a moment before we go into talking about healing relationships. I do want to spend a little bit of time with that. But first, let's talk about how somebody might use this healing treatment, this energy treatment called pranic healing, for their garden, for their vegetables, for their flowers. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you just I scan the area to see if there are any energetic, discordant beings or energy on the property, and I remove those, because it does happen sometimes that there's not good energy on property. So that gets cleared. And then you scan the life force energy of the plants and then you clean them off and present really healthy Mother Earth, air, life force energy, which enhances the plants to be more prolific in their flowering, in their vegetables, in the amount of healthy produce.
Right. And that wouldn't be the case until you did this treatment. Is that like, are you in a sense opening some door? Are you like, what's actually happening energetically? I mean, I know you said you clear, but how does the plant know, or how does the plant be more nourishing? Let's say a vegetable. How is the vegetable becoming more nourishing because of what you've done?
Okay, everything is energy. We have energy. We have energy around our body called the bioplasmic field. Every living plant has a bioplasmic energy field. So if that's depleted, that plant's not going to be doing well. So you want to increase the healthy energy to that, make it nice and full and rich, and the plant will thrive. I mean, of course it needs water. Of course it needs all the regular things.
Sure, yes. Could this be used? I know I'm stretching it here, but I really would love to know the answer. I spent a lot of years myself in the Sahara Desert, for example. So could this be used to re-energize an area like that, do you think, and bring back growth and woodlands and biodiversity into an area like that, do you think?
Wow, that's very forward thinking, and that had never occurred to me to think about using it in that way.
Right.
But I don't see why it couldn't be used in that way. I mean, we can use our thoughts and our prayers to heal the life in the ocean and the coral reefs.
Right.
It is possible to send that energy in a meditation to the earth.
Well, do you know, it's funny, after I had just asked you that question, I remember us speaking we did a podcast a long time ago, several years ago, where we were speaking about a man by the name of Dr. Miran Kesh, and he had done experiments like what we've just been talking about, where he had brought energy healing to specific areas. And because he was Egyptian, he had studied the pyramids and the effect of the pyramids on growth and that kind of thing. And he built various, I'm not really explaining it that well, but I remember understanding it at the time. And he was hired, I think, by the Belgian government or maybe the Dutch government, I'm not sure exactly, I think it was Belgian, to work this experiment on a particular city that was badly polluted. And after 9 months, all the pollution had gone and the whole place became much more energized, and people were moving back to the area. They were feeling more energized for living. So it's interesting. So I'm sure, my question was about the Sahara Desert, for example. So I'm sure the same thing could be done in various places like that are currently inhospitable. Yeah.
Right. And I think it would be beneficial to have a group of people, collective consciousness, working on that collective goal.
Great. Now we're going to talk about relationships. We're finding discordance and separation and division and hatred coming up in the United States of America, but also in lots of countries around the world. And it's a troubling trend, let's call it. So when you talk about healing relationships, are you talking about relationships at that level, or are you talking about like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend?
I'm also talking about office relationships, boss, employee, discordance, extended family member, where the communication isn't happening because there is emotional debris and old thought patterns or old belief systems that were established at a time that may have been beneficial many years ago when that person was younger, that simply are not the truth today.
Yes.
But that stuff is blocking communication and heart connection.
Okay. Now, is this different to... Let me backtrack here and tell you my experience of this. Many years ago, in my first marriage, we were pushed by the Catholic Church into doing a marriage counseling type of a session before the wedding. In other words, they regarded this as essential for the successful marriage, right? So what you're talking about, though, is different to that. I think in a way, if I remember rightly, it's such a long time ago now, but they were talking about being mindful of the other person's needs and understanding their wants and providing harmony in the home in some ways and helping the other person out of love for them. But that's not what you're talking about when you talk about healing relationships here. You're using pranic energy.
Right. You want to clean out the solar plexus, which is a bundle of nerves, which is right behind the stomach. But they also call that chakra that supports the pancreas, the stomach, all the organs around it. That's called the solar plexus chakra.
Okay.
That's where the emotions and the thoughts get all churning and churned up, and the anxiety and stress and all of those issues where people just can't move up into their heart space.
Okay.
They're just stuck in the lower vibration.
Right.
So you want to clear all that, clean it out, shrink it down to its normal size. It could be, 10 feet wide instead of 3 inches.
Okay.
It's not helpful to the person. They just feel upset, and it's not healthy.
Right.
They feel calmer, they feel better once they get work done. And then you clean out the heart if there's any heart walls or energy stuck in the heart. You clean that out, and then you bring in divine energy.
And tell me this, is the client involved in any way with this? Like, are they answering questions that you ask? Are they physically doing something?
I need to have one person in the relationship or family communicating with me.
Okay.
So they can say, well, so-and-so is not doing well. They feel responsible for their father's sadness and depression.
Okay.
And that's not appropriate for a child to have that responsibility.
I see.
So you work on everybody. You clean out all the solar plexus, clean out all that energy. And then you have to deal with thought forms, fear thoughts, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, old patterns. You clean them all out.
Wow, that's extensive.
It is. It does take time, but once you do the first session and then, a couple days later you check in, it's a 15-minute session, and the next session is 7 minutes, and the next one's 5 minutes. Right. So you do the whole family in 15 minutes. You just knock it out.
That can be done remotely, though. I mean,
absolutely.
Because this podcast, for example, goes across. We've got listeners in Israel, in Hong Kong. We've got them in South Africa. We've got them in North America, South America, all over Europe. So they can call you or contact you at paulashealing@gmail.com. and you can initiate a session remotely.
Right. I need a full name and a city and a country, or a city and a state and a country.
Oh, fantastic.
A city and a province.
Fantastic. So let's just look at these healing relationships here. I've got a little paper that Paula had written, and it said, all relationships are based on energy. Positive relationships reflect intimacy in every aspect of togetherness, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. The energy of a loving couple in an intimate relationship blends in a harmonious way, allowing love and good emotions to flow between them easily and freely. Conversely, when a couple is in a poor relationship, arguing and fighting, the energy fields don't blend and flow. They actually clash and repel, manifesting as even more painful friction. Pranic Healing utilizes esoteric techniques to distinguish the negative thoughts and emotions of couples. This helps empower individuals to react less to negative energies while promoting good energy to flow freely between both partners in a relationship.
Yeah, when you disintegrate and eliminate those negative, harmful thoughts that are harmful to the person thinking those thoughts, it's not helpful. When you clean that up, they can connect in a heart connection.
Wow. Well, do you know something? I am so grateful to be able to talk to you today about this. I feel that energy flowing from you. I feel that it's almost like coming from Holy Catholic Ireland, the priests used to talk about absolution. And when you're talking about this energy healing, this pranic healing, that it's like it absolves. It's like an absolution. And I don't mean to go religious with it, but that's what the sense is to me. It's like absolving past stuff. Yeah?
Absolving, dissolving past stuff.
Yeah.
and just let it go.
Wow.
I even worked, a woman one time broke up with someone who was like obsessing with her and very angry, and that was dangerous for her. So I worked on him. I cleaned up all that red anger, cleaned out the solar plexus, got him calm, put in good thoughts that he's going to meet the divine, right, perfect person that's a great match for him. Because we want the best for people. We want them to have a good life. We want to send good to everyone so that they can live a happy life. And he completely changed, became calm, and stopped being this obsessive, angry, threatening ex-boyfriend.
Wow, what a beautiful note on which to finish. You've been listening to myself, Ahonu, speaking with Paula Milan, and she can be contacted at paulashealing@gmail.com, or her telephone number is 925-487-3365. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Angel Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.